again. We did it. Thank you, Marcia. Showing everybody the phone. Hey, you guys. Okay, bye, Marcia. Hey, you guys. Facebook has changed since I last used Facebook Live, so I was difficulties. But hey, welcome to Thursday night's midweek tune-up, and thanks for being here. So I'm Lissa Coffey, and I thought today we would talk about some of the wisdom that's found in the Bhagavad Gita, because it inspires me so much. And especially given the fact that, you know, yesterday was this super stressful day for everybody. Just watching all the events unfold. And I think, like a lot of people, I was caught up in it. You know, I was on my computer between CNN and MSNBC and Facebook and, you know, talking. I was really caught up in it, which I shouldn't have been, because I know, you know, that's not the Vedanta way. So I had to remind myself of what is the Vedanta way. You know, last night, I had a class with Swami Sarvapriyananda. I said, how do you handle it? How do you handle it when all these stresses are going on and all this stuff is in our world and it's so important? He's like, you just don't watch it. Because whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway. What are you going to do about it sitting at home on your computer, right? Are you just going to let it stress you out for what? There are things we can do instead of getting caught up in the Maya, in the illusion. So Maya, let's talk about Maya for just a second, you know, because they explain it very much in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya is all this worldly stuff. And Maya is covering up the truth of reality. So the way it covers up the truth is it can either conceal it, it can veil it, or it can disguise it as something else. So in this kind of case, I think it was being disguised as something that's urgent and important and now and, you know, very, you know, an emergency, which, yeah, it is when you look at it from the worldly point of view. But when you look at it from the spiritual point of view, these things happen all the time. And sometimes a lot worse, sometimes a lot better, sometimes a lot worse. But what happens is they happen and then they're over. It's temporary. It comes and it goes, which means it's not permanent, which means it's not real. The only thing that's real is what stays the same always, and that's that underlying spirit that supports us, that gives us life, that animates us. So in the Bhagavad Gita, and this is my version of the Bhagavad Gita, which is in English rhyming verse, there's a chapter in here, chapter 12. Chapter 12 is what I want to do. I marked all these other pages, but then today I was looking at it again and I'm like, okay, this is what I think we need to hear. This is what I need to hear now. So if I need to hear it, probably you guys need to hear it too. So what do you do to be a good spiritual person amidst all this chaos? We don't necessarily want to like get involved with all the muck, because the problem with getting involved with all the muck is it takes up space in our brain. And there are people in DC handling it who this is their job, this is their dharma, this is what they are put on this earth to do, this is what they chose to do. They're taking care of it. We need to kind of step back and detach from it a little bit and just, you know, allow them to do their job. Know that God is working through them for the highest and the best, whatever that is. There's a line in the Gita where Krishna says to Arjuna, you can control your actions, so do your very best. You can't control the outcome. Trust Brahman to do the rest. So it's saying, If you have a job to do your job to the very best that you can. But then you have to let it go and trust that Brahman or God or how Krishna or Jesus, whichever name you want to use for that eternal loving spirit, the outcome is up to God. So you just have to kind of let it go and know that everything's going to be okay. So I think part of the problem, and I'm saying from this personally, is we get so identified with the chaos and take it so personally and feel so helpless in the moment, but we want to see what's next, but we want to see what's going to happen, but this is affecting our country and this is affecting us, when we do have the option to step back and let the people who are supposed to be there and handle it. Does that make sense? I mean, so meanwhile, if we're worrying about it, we're thinking about it, it's taking up space in our head. Do we really want to be thinking about this narcissistic, angry, spoiled rotten person, whoever that is? Yesterday it was one particular person, but it could be at any given time anybody in your life, right? Your boss or your neighbor or whatever. Do you want to let that person rent space in your head? Why would you, right? Why? It's just going to give you more heartache and stress. You won't be able to sleep. But how do you get it out of your head? How do you get that person or that chaos or that, problem out of your head? This is how you do it. And I'm in chapter 12 now, which is called Devotion. So Krishna says to Arjuna, be friendly to all living beings. Show compassion to everyone. Be free from delusions of I and mine. Accept pleasure and pain as if one. So let's just break that down a little bit. Be friendly to all living beings. Okay, that doesn't say be friendly to people who are friendly to you. Be friendly to your family. Be friendly to the people you know, but not the people you don't know. No, it doesn't say that. Be friendly to humans and not animals. No, it doesn't say that. It says be friendly to all living beings. And why does it say it that way? That is because the divine lives within each one of us. More accurately, every one of us, live in the divine. So we're all one, we're all connected. When we look in someone's eyes, we are connecting with the divine within that person. There's a greeting in Sanskrit, namaste. People will say namaste, namaste. Namaste means the divine in me honors the divine in you. And that's how we need to see people and be friendly to people and to animals too, Animals have a hard life being an animal. As evolved species and beings, humans, we have the ability to use our intelligence to look within, to try to solve our problems ourselves, to search for God. But animals aren't that evolved yet. They live in the present moment. They go along with where they are. They don't have that long-term memory where they can learn the lessons or whatever. They'll get there. They'll get to be humans, but we should have compassion for animals and love them like crazy. I'll show you the picture that Rajesh made. Look at this picture. I don't have it in color, my color book right now, but it's, all living beings are us. Okay, so then the next part, it says, show compassion to everyone. Yes. Be free from delusions of I and mine. It's all the same I. I use the word I when I'm describing myself. Marcia's watching right now. Marcia says, oh, I am Marcia, or I am watching this. She's using the word I. Everyone uses the word I. If we could understand that I is the soul within, and it's all the same I, how much brightness would come into our life. It's like mind-blowing, right? It's all the same I. When we're talking to someone else, we're talking basically to ourselves. And that's hard to comprehend, especially when you're like having an argument with somebody and you both don't disagree and you're banging heads. But, you know, there's a reason for it. Everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own dharma, their own karma, their own purpose, their own reason for being, their own stuff they have to work out in this life. And that's all well and good. All paths lead to God. It's like a mountain, you can climb up all these different paths. And when you get to the top of the mountain, it's the same, right? We're all going to get there. No matter what path we're taking, it might be this, you know, breezy, easy path. We're just all the way to the top. We might be on a really treacherous path with cliffs and rocks, and you know, it's a challenge, it's a struggle to get there. But all paths, whatever it is, end up at the top of the mountain. We all have the same view. It's glorious. Okay, so when he's saying, Krishna is saying, be free from delusions of I and mine. It's like, it's not all about you. You are this tiny little, you know, piece of the whole grand picture. So it's about all of us. There really is no I and mine. It's ours. It's our world. And that's why we have to let these people who are in power in Washington do their job. We can't do their job for them, right? We have other jobs to do. We have our dharma to do to make the world a better place. This is their dharma to do. That's why they got elected, and we had a say in who was elected because we voted, right? So now we have to kind of allow all that to play out. Whatever karma is going to play out, we have to allow it to play out. And then the last line says, accept pleasure and pain as if one. So in life, there's these coexistence of opposite, right? There's pleasure and there's pain. There's good and there's bad. There's hot and there's cold. There's rich and there's poor. There's healthy and they're sick. Whatever coexistence of opposites is. But Krishna is telling us that there's really no difference between these two. It's two sides of the same coin, and we're going to experience both, but we shouldn't let either one get us caught up in it. So there's calm and there's chaos. So can we be calm amidst the calm? Yeah, piece of cake. We can do that. That's easy. Can we be calm amidst the chaos? That's the challenge for us. But Krishna is saying, accept them both as one. And when we don't get too attached to either one, when we walk that middle path, then we're like contented and blissful and, you know, peaceful, and we can handle anything. We don't get caught up in that drama and let it, you know, take us off the path. Our job is to stay on the path. So then Krishna says, be forgiving and ever contented. Be united with me constantly. Your resolve must never be shaken. Such a devotee is dear to me. So be forgiving and ever contented. Someone does you harm, water off a duck's back, right? Isn't that what they say? You know, be ever contented. Don't let that get you down, because what happens is when someone is harming you, now that we understand that we're all one, they're harming themselves. they're creating more karma for themselves. You don't have to let it affect you. You know, it's like, of course, maybe in the moment you'll react, but when you regain your composure and look at it from the big picture, you're like, okay, well, that happened. Am I going to dwell on that, or am I going to get back to my real job? What is your real job? He says it right here. Be united with me constantly. So am I going to let some narcissistic politician take up space in my brain? No. Instead, I'm going to think of God. I'm going to chant the name of God. I'm going to sing God's praises. I'm going to thank God. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to pray, meditate, feel that divine connection, and allow that peace to wash over me with the faith and conviction that I know God is taking care of everything. So I don't have to, all I have to do is connect with God. And he says, your resolve must never be shaken. We got to remember this. That's where we go. If things are difficult, if we're in a problem, if we're struggling, there's a challenge before us. We see, like we saw yesterday, all the chaos. How do we deal with that? Think of God. That's all you have to do. That's like the biggest gift and the best tool we have is to put your mind on God, because that's where it belongs. And that will bring you the inner peace that you're seeking. And then he ends it by saying, such a devotee is dear to me. All devotees are dear to Krishna, whether you're stressing or worrying or not. But do we feel it? So there's an analogy that Ramakrishna used to say to his followers, that God is like a fire, and you've got a campfire around. If you want to feel the heat from the fire, if you want it to warm you up, you move closer to the fire. You just move closer to it, and then you feel it. If you're not feeling the heat, you're way far away, move closer to the fire. So it's the same thing with God's love. If you want to feel God's love, move closer to God. Think about God. Pray to God. Sing to God. Whatever it is, chant God's name. Anything you can do. Just, see God in every person. Serve God. Whatever it takes. And then you'll feel it. Then you'll feel God's love. It's always there. It's always there. But, this is how you can feel it within yourself. Okay, so our time is up. That was quick. It just breezed by. I thought I would do a lot more verses, but that's 2 verses in chapter 12 of Song Divine. I have to tell you guys, I started on January 1, the Daily Gita, Song Divine, the Daily Gita. And I've got it on YouTube. I've got it on Instagram. And I have it on my Facebook page. So it's youtube.com/Coffey Talk, facebook.com/Lissa Coffey Talk, Lissa with 2 S's, Coffey, Coffey Talk, and Instagram/Lissa Coffey, LISSA COFFEY. Every single day for 1 year, 365 days, I'm going to post part of the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm going to comment on it so that we have a little takeaway. Each video is like 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes. By the time you've watched them all, it's like 12 hours because it's 365 videos, right? It's a lot of videos I'm making. But 2 minutes a day to think of God, to get close to God. The other thing you can do is I have the Song Divine newsletter, which is free, And when you go sign up for it on songdivine.com, you start with day one, the day you sign up. So you go from day one to day 365. You get the print version. It's free. I'm giving this stuff away. The videos, the email newsletters, free. I want you guys to learn the beautiful lessons in the Gita and get as much out of it as I did, because this is like what we've been looking for our whole lives. We just didn't know it was there. We're in this Western world. We're Westerners. Who would have thought the guide to life is right here? Krishna tells us everything we need to know to live a good life. Happy life, healthy life, everything. So that's it. I love you guys very much. So grateful to have you in my life. And I guess I'll just see you later then. Okay? Thanks. Bye.